Hey there, Hopeful Tribe. Welcome back. Do you want things to go more smoothly when you're communicating or disagreeing with your partner? Would you rather things not escalate so fast? Well, this video is for you. I'm going to offer 5 steps that you can take when you're involved in a difficult conversation with your partner or your loved ones or your friends that are going to help you de-escalate and keep things calm and keep communication effective. So the first idea is sensing your feelings or needs. What do I mean by that? In the book Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, there's this idea of communicating in a way that you're really keyed in to what you're feeling and what needs you have based on those feelings. So when you encounter a difficult situation, maybe something's happened, your partner has done something or your friend has done something, and you find yourself reacting to it in a certain way, the first thing you want to do is check in with yourself and figure out how you're feeling. For example, you might feel yourself being frustrated. So you check in with yourself on that frustration and figure out what need might be connected to it. Well, the need that might be connected to it might be, say, cooperation. So we all sort of know what feelings and needs are. There's actually a lot of material online from Rosenberg's book, Nonviolent Communication, where you can find cheat sheets that have lists of feelings and needs. But basically, we get the idea of them. So you check with yourself and see how you're feeling. So for example, you might be feeling frustrated based on something that's happened, and your need for cooperation isn't being met. So that's the place where you start in a conversation, rather than using blaming language. For example, someone might be feeling frustrated, but instead of just stating to the partner or whoever they're communicating with, I'm feeling frustrated, they might state something like, oh, you're so irritating, or why do you always act like that? Well, those are blaming words that just escalate communication. So if you check in with yourself, focus on yourself of what you're feeling and what you're needing, that's a place to start that doesn't escalate it. So the next tip or step that you might take is sensing what your partner or the other person that you're talking with or communicating with might be feeling or needing. So this is just a guess based on what's going on. You might guess that they're feeling angry because maybe their need for respect isn't being met. And you can ask them, are you feeling angry because you're needing more respect in this situation? Now, you may be wrong, but it's fine if you are, and they come up with what they're actually feeling or actually needing. That still gets the conversation off on a more positive note than if you approach them with blaming language of yourself. Like, are you mad at me? Just starting with feelings or needs and with non-blaming communication often de-escalates it. So there's also a balance. You might, if your partner is more upset about the situation than you are, you might start with, instead of sensing your own feelings and needs, sensing their feelings and needs. Where are they in the conversation, right? So you don't always have to start with yourself, but it's just good to start with those feelings or needs. So the first tip is sensing your feelings or needs. The second tip is sensing your partner's feelings or needs. So these are steps or tips that you can take for more positive communication. So the next step is taking responsibility for your own feelings and needs. So we all need to remember that our feelings and needs come from inside us. We create them. They aren't poured into us. They aren't because of someone behaving a certain way. Our feelings and needs are from us. So we're responsible for creating our feelings, and also we're responsible for tending to our needs. Now, our partner can support us in creating good feelings and also tending to our needs in a way that's positive for us. It's great if they do, but it's really our responsibility. So if you remember that in a conflict with partners, loved ones, or friends, things, again, they tend to not escalate as fast. So another tip is supporting your partner, whoever you're communicating with, in taking responsibility for their own feelings and tending to their own needs. You can be kind and compassionate, and that will help facilitate them being able to do that. So you want to keep that in mind. So you can do this supporting of yourself, taking responsibility for your feelings and needs, and supporting your partner in doing so. by remembering that we're not using blaming language. The next step is interrupting comparisons, criticisms, and judgments. So easier said than done. And what do I mean by that? So as we have these exchanges where we're thinking about and sensing our feelings and needs, and the other person is thinking and feeling about and sensing their feelings and needs and dealing with them, and also we're supporting each other in doing that, sometimes, depending on how difficult the conversation is, we all have a tendency to compare, criticize, or judge. Either we're doing that with the person we're talking to, or we're doing it about ourselves. So we might be thinking like, oh, golly, if I'd said that rude thing, they would be reacting this way, whether you're saying it out loud or not. Sometimes we're saying it out loud, right? We're comparing and judging what the other person has done, and we're criticizing it. So this is not to say that you don't need to deal with whatever issue it is and discuss it. But when you get involved in this comparing, criticizing, or judging, either them or yourself, and you can do it to yourself by saying things like, gosh, why do I always do this irritating thing? It always triggers them. When you do that, it keeps the issue escalating, and also it just kind of like spirals out of control, and you stay in that negative loop. And what you want to do is figure out a way to interrupt that. You can interrupt it by thinking about something else that you like about the person that you're talking to, or you might want to think about ways that you value that relationship. Anything to kind of interrupt that pattern. And then after that, you want to maybe get your place into a place of gratitude about the relationship. What you value about it, what you love about the person, why you're even friends with them or mates with them. And when your mind and heart are in that place, you want to change the subject back to dealing and processing whatever the issue is. And so this last part is the most important. And I've heard others describe it in different ways, this idea of interrupting this pattern. Some people have described it as thinking of a car at the top of a hill. So a car, if it's just cresting the top of a hill, you can, before it starts to roll down, you can actually go up and stop that car with just your finger. You can put your finger in front of it and stop it. But once it starts careening down the hill, it is nearly impossible to stop it. So, without getting flattened. So the main point is, don't let yourself get flattened in your relationships. That's it for now. Take care, Hopeful Tribe.